What's up, everybody? This is King El Bey. Um, I'm dropping some knowledge on y'all today, and I want to have a talk about the Moorish identification and Moorish credentials. I did some stuff before on an earlier video, but I want to talk about the Moor identification and that nationality cards and all these different things. And this is how we get in trouble when we're not putting our credentials and doing things appropriate according to conformity when we're trying to utilize that for a public benefit. A lot of people talk about what do you mean, King El Bey? I'm not gonna go. I might get into another topic on the welfare state when federal government and state funds get used for um, to facilitate things like jobs, banking, all that is federally or state funded. So a lot of things can be utilized in such a way because most corporations have to contract with the state to do business. So they have to conform to the state laws. They have to conform. You have to contract. That's why they make you go up there and register your business with the state. It's state owned. They control it, but you own it and you operate it. But they control it through legislation. That's why they say own nothing, control everything. And this is how all this stuff works. But I want to talk about that because I see so many people getting these credentials and they're not getting their stuff appropriate so it can have the validity in which they need to be considered what they need it to be considered as when you need to go to court. So they're recognized. Now, you can use those private credentials for any private organization. That's fine. That's cool. If that ID lets you into your lodge or to your organization, into your group because it's private, that's fine. But it's not going to work the same unless you conform with the law on the public side. So you got to understand that. So what we do is we got a system in which we use certain method according to conformity of the law and specific methodology that when you get your credentials from us, they're legitimate to be recognized in the public. So we got a series of processes that we go through. And I just want to talk about this because the man, he was arrested and he was in Evendale on a traffic stop. And he was charged with falsification, obstruction of official business, failure to disclose personal information, driving without a license, and two other traffic offenses. So this is the thing that we're running into because we don't understand how to do everything to secure our private rights. And then we get stripped and we go to court and then they convince us of otherwise and they don't have jurisdiction because we never understood how to secure our rights through contracts. And everybody, I keep talking about contract, 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 contract. Let me see. Now, I've talked about this on one of my other videos. So, look, this says state and territory statutes and judicial proceedings, full faith and credit. Simple as what it is. So, when you got state and territory statutes, they get the full faith and credit. So, anytime the General Assembly of Congress make a law and you conform to the law and according to certain things, for as when judges make determinations, they get full faith and credit. But I'm talking about this especially about the notary. The notary. See, when they did this Notary Act and they do it under a state law or federal law, and you do everything and validate all that information, it has the full faith and credit of the United States, because the notary is what? An official officer. It says such acts, records, and judicial proceedings or copy thereof so authenticated shall have the same full faith and credit in every court within the United States and its territories. So we bring some things, we bring some solid information to the thing, and we break it down for you. You know, so once you understand this, because we do this for real, man. We're not like, I'm serious. I'm boots on the ground. I go through this information. I rock this information, and I've been litigating for years now. Like, I'm not new at this at all. And I can tell when people are putting up videos and they're saying certain things, I can tell their level of understanding in the court. When you read enough case law and enough stuff, I'm talking about, I used to read so much case law, my head would start swimming. And then sometimes I would read it twice and still didn't understand it, what I read. So you got to understand this whole information. You got to understand all this information. So a lot of you guys, when I talk about your Moorish identification cards or your Moorish ID, there's certain things that you have to do if you want it to be recognized and solidified on the public side so it can be appropriated. Let's keep pushing. Now let's go here. I'm going to show you something. It says filing status of foreign judgments. A copy of any foreign judgment authenticated according to this. I just showed you that law. May be filed with the clerk of court of any common pleas. Okay? The clerk shall treat the foreign judgment in the same manner as what? As the court of common pleas. A foreign judgment filed to this section has the same effect and subject what? Subject what? To the same what? Procedures? What? Defenses? Proceedings for reopening? What? Vacating? Staying a judgment of a court of common pleas and may enforce or satisfy in the same manner as a judgment of the court of common pleas. Y'all don't hear me, though. Y'all don't hear me. I told you, this word can be substituted for private. But y'all ain't hearing me, though. Y'all don't understand this because y'all too busy not understanding. And I talk about this, have to understand these proceedings. You have to conform to this stuff so it can be recognized. Now, I can even show you you go up to your Secretary of State. If you pay additional money, it's like $400 or $500. You can even be able to prosecute, have the right to prosecute when you have a foreign trust set up with the state when you get your license. So a lot of you guys, I don't know how well. I just see a lot of people putting up some videos, and like when you boots on the ground, you know what's real. And I don't knock no more in this movement because they have to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. Don't nobody come in this game knowing everything. So I apply every more in their efforts. Anybody in this movement, I'm with you. I'm supportive. I got your back. But let's go on. Let me show y'all something. Okay, let's go to the rules of evidence. Now, we're going to talk about what they call, I talked about this in the other video, a judicial notice of adjudicative facts. And it says kinds of facts. A judicially noticed fact must be one not subject to reasonable dispute in that it is either generally known within the territorial jurisdiction of the trial court. or capable of accurate and ready determination by resort to resources whose accuracy cannot be reasonably questioned. So let me give you an example. Something that's known, all the parties, like something that's reasonably known, for example. Let's say if everybody understand, like say me, you, and other people was in the contract, that will be something known to all, reasonably known through all parties, in which will qualify as an adjudicated fact. Legislative statutes that you have performed in accordance to the rules and everything, that can be considered in a sense uh, within the territorial. Okay? That's laws that's known within the territory. But they also have legislative where it won't be applicable. But you have to understand that when they create revised codes and certain things and stuff that's well known within the territory, so you have to understand when they talking about this, like the UCCs filing all of that, that is within the territorial jurisdiction within the state. Filing your business and the Secretary of State, that is an that is an adjudicative fact. Certain things that's well known within the territory is considered an adjudicated fact that is known. As long as you have that and they can research it, it can be known, it can be proven. Is no way they can argue don't have this business within the state because the Secretary of State gave you this. And if you do certain things in a particular way, the way we do it, then it authenticates the process in which done through legislative law and you conform to the law is now known and it has merit and is considered as evidence. And the only reason I know because I do this. I really do this. And so when you guys are not in conformity in conjunction with the law, because you're doing certain things, this is what get us in trouble because we always trying to reach over on their side of the fence and pick an apple and then say, oh no, this is our land and this is what we have to do. So we got stuff that we need to be doing and that we need to be working on. Let me keep it pushing because I got to show y'all something. Now, identity fraud. Now, check this. Now I could talk. Let me see. Do I got falsification? Um, Exceptions and provisions constitutionally rights and privileges unaffected. Um, I'll talk about this in a second. But these, like for example, I'm just gonna talk about this. An advertiser or commercial announcement for use for permanent by Division A of this section. The use of an individual's name to truthfulness, identity, identify the individual as the author or contributor to the written work or performer of a record performance. It just talk about the use as aspect of individual persona connected with the broadcast, but it talks about all this stuff in here. Individual role as a member of a public thing, a use of an individual persona by an institution of a higher education. Talk about student, a member of a faculty or institution, the individual persona and educational purposes. So it says a use of persona as an individual protected by the First Amendment of the Constitution as long as it does not convey a reasonable suggestion of endorsement by the individuals whose persona is at issue. So you got to understand this chapter does not affect the right or privileges recognized under the Ohio Constitution and the United States Constitution. So just let you know, material, audio, video, advertisement. You got to understand how all this stuff works in that. So material that has political or newsworthy value. So let me go here. Identity fraud, and then I think I got one more law. Let me see. Let me talk about this. Let me go get into that. Um, I thought I had it already pulled up. Let me see if I got it pulled up. No, let's go here. Let me pull it up real quick. Now I was reading that out of that one, that this one. That's some of that. That's under the right of publicity. Um, Now it talks about unauthorized commercial use of individual persona exceptions, and it just talk about the right. Let me make sure because they got another division. I'm gonna go to persona means an individual name, voice, signature, photograph, image, likeness, or a distinctive appearance in any of the aspects have commercial value. So a right of publicity means the right of an individual persona to use the individual persona for commercial purposes. This to give you the definitions. So we understand how to secure this, put this in proper perspective so that you can have your commercial and non-commercial identity. And everything is done through contracts. This is why some of you guys are getting your Moorish identification cards taken and your Moorish credentials taken because you don't understand certain aspects of what need to go on with doing all this Moorish movement because you haven't been boots on the ground or people are just doing their own thing, self-interpreting and not really going through the construction enough. So let's look at falsification. No person shall knowingly make a false statement or knowingly swear or affirm the truth of a false statement previously made when any of the following applies. So I'm just going to, you could go through here, look up falsifications with your state. I'm not going to go through everyone. Okay, I went through that. Let me look at identity fraud. No person with intent to defraud shall permit another to use the person's own personal identification information. So, if you do certain things a certain way, you do it within the state, can't nobody say that you did any kind of fraud or did anything illegal. It can be verified. It can show what capacity you're working under in which it can be used. And then they cannot charge you if you had everything done in a specific manner, done by contract, utilizing certain things by the way of making it known within the territory. Either you could do it through the UCCs, there's other formulas that you can use through the probate court and other stuff that it can be used and recognized without throughout the jurisdiction in which it will be enforceable, and those will be private rights in which can be identified, in which you can give the court notice, in which it can be solidified and nobody can challenge the the authenticity of the information or the information itself because it was done in such a manner and is conformity and is in places of public institutions make it a public record in which the truthfulness of the information is solidified. So y'all got to understand this information. And most of y'all ain't trying to do this information. And most of y'all don't understand because you keep reaching on that other side of the fence. And let's go back to this public and private. Y'all doing this, reaching over here and talking about your private, your Moor's rights, Constitution. But you over here, you reaching doing this. You constantly, Apple over here, I want that Apple. You constantly doing that. And that's, you constantly keep doing that, and it's going to get you in trouble. Because you don't understand how to mix public and private in the sense where they don't mix, but they show enough to contract. So y'all need to understand this information in its entirety so y'all can drop this information and make this information available. I'm trying to make this information available to everybody out there in this Moorish movement. You need to subscribe to the channel. You need to keep watching these videos. King El Bey is going to drop some more hot information. I'm going to show you how. I got to do a few more videos, probably on how to win part 2, some more child support videos, and more to come to help you understand and how to practice what you know, and so that you can better have validity, because everything in society is dealing with contracts and everything is about private property. This is King El Bey. I'm dropping this knowledge on y'all. I want everybody to understand what I'm doing. So I'm just going to continue to drop this information. I'm continuing to drop this information and continue to keep everything going. For those who need help with child support, check this out. You see, let me go down here. Let's go to Amazon.com. Amazon.com. If anybody need help with child support, here you go. This makes a great, take a look inside. I got great information in there for those who need to understand. Some people get the book and they don't really understand how to utilize the book. That's why I say, for those who purchase the book, give me a call. I got information. I'm willing to give you some consultation on the book and some information. So the information in the book is solid because everything is. I talk about substantive rights and all these different things. I talk about a whole lot of different stuff within the book. I drop some information. I talk about some different stuff in the book. I talk about affidavits and certain things in which you have to do, having witnesses and all of that, voluntary servitude in the book. The book has a lot of good information in it. So you guys need to get the book. It got some good information. A lot of people need to read more. I'm gonna put out volume 2. So to get some more, this book is it got some great information. It's just a lot of y'all don't have the wherewithal because y'all think it's that easy. So y'all pick up a law. It's just like lawyers can pick up a law book and read it and understand it and interpret to exercise it. I didn't make this book hard. I made it pretty easy. It's an easy read, but the thing about it, a lot of people just don't have the wherewithal to understand. So the information is great in the book. The book is good. It has a lot of good, solid information on it. A lot of people need to understand this. And that's why I'm going to start doing these videos. I'm dropping videos of dropping fire on everybody. Also, check that. Here we go. We got the M.U.S.T family court. This is what we do. This is what we do. Okay? Come on, let's go. Let's go to Facebook. Y'all need to check out our Facebook. Give us a call. We also got the community of New Kemet, which is the Moorish Universal Society of Tribes. We also got this. You know, check us out. Achieve more in life. Let me drop y'all this information on y'all. So you need to come to our Facebook site. Come and join. Come and holler at us, and then give me a call. I'm gonna give you the information right here. Give me a call at 513-549-7270. 513-549-7270. Give us a call. This is King El Bey dropping this science on y'all. So I can show you better than I can tell you. This stuff, what I bring to the table really work. What we understand about this and how we go about dropping this knowledge. I've been dropping some 5 videos. I'm just keep dropping videos because I know what Moors need. So this is King El Bey. Peace and love to all my Moors out there. All who in the fight, all who in the struggle, who's trying to get this information into conform. Please link up with us. Call us at M.U.S.T. People been calling me. I had a few guys for a minute. I wasn't accepting any calls. I was just focused on what I was doing. Please give us a call so we can all build what we're trying to do, so we can make this movement great, so we can get back on our A game. This is peace and love for all my Moors. King El Bey signing out. Peace.